ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on Broadway World or over here on the Broadway Podcast Network. And you know, one of my favorite places to see live art is over at the Blue Note. And there's a residency that's coming up that you need to see. There's an album that's coming out. I've been listening all week to They Sleep, We Grind. Hey, that is a bop. That is the song. Y'all need to be streaming the single and getting ready. We are going to find out why 1978. We're going to find out the connection to all the things. We have José James is here, going on the road, coming to New York, and so much more. I'm really excited about it. And I also need him to, I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol, but I can't kick the caffeine. So help me. Don't judge this cup of coffee, José James. José James is here. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you. I would never judge caffeine. I love coffee. I don't drink it anymore though, myself.
I got rid of diet soda. I can't get rid of the coffee yet.
It's hard. It's really hard. I didn't do it by choice. I did it by necessity.
You seem like a real even-keeled, you don't need anything to help you. You just are vibing all the time. What's in there?
Ginger turmeric.
That's how you get those vocals. That's how you get those vocal life right there.
Exactly.
Congrats on the single. It's been in my head since I heard it all week long, and I hope people can stream it because it is a fun. They Sleep, We Grind. Come on. How did this song come to you?
It's, it was just about having fun. The whole album was about having fun, and it was obviously before a lot of current events, so it was like this beautiful moment where, this is my 13th album. I just had the mindset of, man, I want to keep this fun. I want to just throw paint on the wall. I want to just create with my friends live in the studio to tape, see what happens and not overthink it, which at this stage of my career, that's where a lot of people get turned around, overthinking everything. You know too much,
Yes.
You know who your audience is, you know where it's going to tour, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, I want to unleash from that and just like make some stuff. So, Mad Lib was a huge inspiration for me, Jay Dilla and Erykah Badu, who I toured her music for 2 years. So her music in my head and all of those ideas kind of started. And, on social media, she's often says They Sleep, We Grind is like her thing, because she's up, she's always posting late. It's kind of like this like alternative universe that she embodies of the creatives, the of us, so it's like an anthem for us because we're always thinking, we're always grinding, we're always working, we're always preoccupied with the next step.
Well, I know in your house is a house full of creatives, so it's not like you have your partner, your wife is working, as an accountant. You live in a house of artistry.
Right.
For a lot of artists out there, including myself, we get told, put the phone down, put the thoughts away, turn it off. But when you love it and you see it, is it always going in your head? Do you get inspiration everywhere?
I'm always either giving or receiving, I think. And lately I've been trying to receive more because, like I said, 13 albums, given a lot. But yeah, it's important, I think, for creatives to be surrounded by things that inspire. I can show you, just moved upstate New York, and we got these in Palm Springs. Talia found these incredible, they're like on tin from Morocco, and there are all these different jobs and one is a snake charmer, one is a magician, just little things that kind of like make you think about the world differently. I think that's important because we do give a lot, when we give. I don't know that there's any other way to do it, but to just give fully,
Yeah, well, that's your calling. That's it. That's your life's work. You said 13 albums. I think we have a bunch of them. I mean, there's a bunch of work and albums out here that you can be streaming and listening. I saw this picture and I was like,
a lot of hairstyles.
I want a tattoo so bad now. I'm not cool enough to have a tattoo. And then we're gonna, of course, talk about the new album. So explain. The album comes out in May. The singles are going to be rolling out. Maybe we'll hear more music before May. Maybe we'll get
definitely. Definitely.
What's the inspiration? What is 1978?
It's the year I was born, And it's this incredible moment in American culture, pop culture, music, where all these seemingly disparate styles were just like existing at the same time. You know, disco was king, obviously. And I love that whole club culture and that downtown New York scene and the Mud Club and then Studio 54, you know. So all of that kind of like, you know, mixing and it's like a powder keg. You know, you had punk rock, you had rock and roll, you had all the jazz guys who had survived the 60s were still creating, like Herbie Hancock, you know, Stevie Wonder. I mean, to me it's like such a beautiful moment in time, politically, socially, and musically. So I've been investigating that over and over since 2012, and I think this is the last of that series, but you never know, you know.
You never know. Well, to stay up to date, we can follow you on Instagram, Jose James Music, and we can go to josejamesmusic.com. And then while we're talking, you know, I said before, bluenojazz.com. When the album comes out and everything is out and out and about, I want people to definitely come check out the show May 19th to the 22nd, 2 shows a night, and you can see 1978, Revenge of the Dragon, the Bruce Lee of it all. I
It's gonna
love
be
it.
lit. It's gonna be super fun. It's good, you know. And the other inspiration for this album in particular is I've been training at the Shaolin Temple um, for like 6 months, and it's really been life changing. I mean, you talked about quitting caffeine. That'll do it. that'll,
That's the
that'll do
trick.
it.
That's
Yeah.
when I was listening to your body of work for the past few weeks and getting ready to chat with you. It's so fascinating because I think you're genre bending. I don't think, you know, jazz can scare people. Going to a jazz club can scare people, or
Sure. I
jazz.
get scared sometimes.
Yeah. And jazz enthusiasts hear, you know, pop covers or R&B covers, and so how do you describe?
Mm. I think it's just good. It's just good music. I love all kinds of music. You know, like you mentioned, Talia and I, you know, have a creative home. We're always listening to everything. Little Emmylou Harris, you know, Elton John, Lady Gaga, you know, Miles Davis, Kendrick Lamar. Like it's a different facet of humanity, and so I think of it as the just the musical extension of that. You know, I don't really think outside of one. If it is a genre, it's just music. You know,
It's
because I love
good.
it. Yeah, and you know, historically, if you're a jazz musician, it meant you could play anything. So that's how I think of it. I think that's how Robert Glasper and Chief Adjua and people in my generation kind of approach it. Like, yeah, we love standards, we love bebop, we love Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra and Billie Holiday and the greats. And we also live in 2025 where there's incredible stuff happening around the world. So why not be involved and partake in it?
Well, I was sold. I mean, I heard your music. I'd heard your standards. I heard Can't Take That Away From Me. And then when I
Yeah, that was fun.
but when I deep dove in, and after you get past everybody, if you ease your way into his collection, you can get that standard. You can hear a little Lovely Day moment, and you get the R&B feels, and then you go into your original work, and then you're just—it's a whole vibe for everybody out here listening. How do you manage the covers versus the
Mm.
originals and build your set list or your album track list that fits a little bit of everything that moves you
For like live shows or just in general?
in general?
Well, for me, I'm on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius.
Okay.
So, so it's kind of like the most traditional sign and the most rule breaking sign. And I really believe in this stuff because I feel it in my life. You know, sometimes I need to go back and remember, like, okay, what was Miles Davis thinking about in 1950s, and tap into the pureness of that kind of expression. And then sometimes I need to say, all right, that's all done. What am I doing right now? Like, let me work with a new producer. Let me find a new band. Let me find. So it's really about, you know, listening to my heart. You know, it's really about listening to my spirit and letting it be guided like that. Because I think if you create with that kind of intention, people can feel that. You know, that's why 20 years later, people still want to come out and see me because no show is ever the same. You know, I don't rehearse. It's always at the highest level of musicianship, great bands. And my saxophone player from Baltimore, you're like, wait, you're like, wait, you
You
don't
go rehearse?
no, no, I don't even rehearse for albums. Nothing. I give musicians like a link to like either a playlist or some demos that I've made, and then what you hear is them playing it for the first time ever. That's what every album has been.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about your process because I know that you have kind of an old school, new school approach to recording music, tape, and all of the things. To real nerdy musician, but this is what I love. I remember being 18 years old in Jersey. I made my first little demo, and out came the tape and the slicing and the scissors and the whole. And then now moving to digital, and now you can splice and do all sorts of fun things with the click of a button. What is your recording studio like? What is this album recorded as?
This was recorded on like a 50s style tape and a 70s style tape. So we did 2-inch, like 2-track direct to 2-inch tape, meaning you can't change anything. And that scared everybody. Everybody was like terrified. They're like, wait, what? So the first pass, the first take was all the vocals, everything done with the band together. And then once we had that take, then I did a 70s thing where we took that reel, added another reel, and then recorded on top, like extra vocals or extra synths, or to make it a little bit more contemporary. So it's like two different eras of tape, but it's all recorded on 2-inch tape. And we mixed to tape as well, which was a first, it's scary, in a way, because you can't change anything, but it's also freeing because you're just performing,
So did you feel, is there a perfectionist in your head that listens to it and wishes you could go in there and change things? Or have you just made peace? Like, this is it. This is the recording.
I mean, that perfectionist is always going to be there no matter what. That's what I've learned, even in the most digital, the most arranged, there's always something that I'm like, ooh, I didn't quite hit that note the way I wanted to, or if I had more time, I could have added another harmony here. But I think that's the love of it. That's the love of the craft that we have. And that's the sort of desire to always want to do something new. I think the moment that I finish something and I'm like, oh yeah, it's perfect, I'll never change it, then I'm probably going to just stop making music,
I give you credit for telling us because it sounds perfect. I mean, when you hear this single, it sounds so good. I mean, damn, my middle name is Pitch Corrector. I'm obsessed with the fact that you are doing this on tape, the way that it used to be done, the artistry that's involved in that. And then the live show, no rehearsal. Are you calling song? There's no set list? Or are you just changing it up?
I mean, there's rarely a set list. I mean, I used to make a set list, but then I always go off script anyway. So, and then my musicians just are like, what's the point of, why did you give us a set list? So yeah, I mean, usually it's around a certain album or project, but it's how I feel that day. It's how the band feels that day. It's how the crowd feels. Somebody might holler out for a song, and then all of a sudden we just change gears. And to me, it keeps it fresh too. I've been singing my song Trouble since it came out in 2013. Yeah, it's a long time ago. And for me, I want to keep it fresh for not only for myself but for the audience. So I really try to just like let go and give people what they need in that moment.
Well, JoséJamesMusic.com, you'll see the dates. You can get your tickets at Blue Note Jazz. And then you have other dates, and I'm sure more dates are coming, and you'll take this album on the road.
It's a world tour. Yeah, we're going everywhere, all around the world this year, which is beautiful. Going back to Brazil. It's been a while. Going to Japan, Asia, Australia, South Africa, Europe. It's great, man. Music is, literally is a world passport. I'm grateful that people still want to see live shows, that you can't recreate it. You have to go and see it. You have to feel it, because anything can happen, especially at the Blue Note, because people sit in all the time. People are in the audience like, yo, jump on stage,
Yes. Exactly. It's going to be a must-see show. I'm in the Midwest. I moved from New York about 7 months ago. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Detroit. Neighbors to your growing up.
Detroit, yes.
So you growing up in Minneapolis, and literally in the shadow of Prince and the shadow of all the Midwest. The coast think the Midwest is boring, but some of the best music has come out of this little area.
That's right. Here. Talk about it.
So what can you say about your foundation? And yeah, I see the influences. If it's Michael Jackson, if it's Prince, if it's the jazz greats before you, how has all of the stages of your life influenced your music now?
Yeah, Midwest is music to me, for America. You have all the funk, coming out of Ohio. Um, Detroit was huge, actually. There's a family called the Washington family that still lives in Minnesota, and the drummer Kevin Washington, sax player, father Donald Washington, who's James Carter's mentor. Faye Washington plays a flute and sings. So I had that vibe. A lot of Chicago musicians, a lot of jazz musicians, a lot of gospel musicians. Sounds of Blackness are there. Credible singers, man. Mint Condition, just like wow. And of course Prince, on top of everybody, just reigning. But the thing that's cool about him is he never left, and he always showed so much love to the community. He lived there.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, he had other homes too, let's be real, but you know what I mean? Like Paisley
Yes.
Park was his home. And there is something about the Midwest that's more folksy. I don't want to say friendly, but I'll say folksy. There's an earthiness and a blues to everything that we do, whether it's house music you know, or jazz or R&B. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's friendly until you cross somebody and then they whoop your ass out here in these
Right.
streets.
Yeah, don't, exactly.
So,
Especially in Detroit now, like
especially here, don't sleep. Detroit's come for you.
exactly.
When you're on tour, I can't wait for you to make it around these parts because we'll be showing out and showing love for sure. On the world tour, which we're looking and ready for. You've had quite the year. I know you LA and the fires in LA have been quite the thing. It affected you and your family. How are you doing? How is
We're okay. We're taking it day by day. We're upstate New York now, and we just moved in like last week, so it's all new. And I just gotta say, Altadena was such a special place. It was like an alternate version of America because there was no redlining, so you had all these incredible families, Black families, Latino families, Asian families, Armenians who were owning these homes and businesses, and we were there for 2 years, and it really will touch me. The community has really stepped up and supported us, for which I'm very grateful. And we're just keeping it going. Music has been huge for me. Listening to music, I've been listening to so much Stevie, so much Andrew Bird, so much Joni Mitchell. Just filling myself up again, because I think artists are the ones who can go through these things and turn it into something that can help someone later. That's what I hear in those records.
Well, we listen to your music for the same thing, and you carry on the legacy of all of the artists that come before you and carry it forward to give us peace and hope and joy. And that's the greatest gift like anyone can really give this world is music and a message. So we thank you.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, thank you.
I want people to get the album. I want people to listen to the singles. I want you to go back in time, go back 20 years or so to the first album and
Right.
listen to the whole discography and get ready for when Jose comes to your neck of the woods. The album comes out in May.
The album comes out May 16th on my own label, Rainbow Blonde Records. I'm the A&R, and Talia is the president. She was at Blue Note Records. She's a total genius and incredible artist in her own rights, Grammy nominated singer-songwriter. But we have our own label. We oversee every single step from demo to vinyl. The vinyl, it looks so good. It sounds so good. We do everything at Abbey Road. It's really, now that it's all mine, we can really go as crazy as we want. So every single lacquer is cut by hand by Frank Arkwright, the legend at Abbey Road, for every single version of the LP. Sometimes we do a color LP, sometimes we do black. Each one gets its own cut. And then Echo Base is in Georgia. We have a pressing plant down there we work with. So, it's made in the USA, man. Hey, you gotta represent, because manufacturing is strong right
Yes,
now.
alive, and what it is somewhere. We got to support those businesses,
Exactly.
and that vinyl is back. And the best way to
Yeah,
listen to music is put it on vinyl and spin those records.
I
You
think so.
is it scary? Is it scary now that I mean, maybe it's liberating to not have the big label machine and to not have to hand your demos in for approval and a budget and all these things. Has it been freeing? Is it scary?
It's been great. It's been the best thing ever. I mean, Prince always said you got to own your masters, or your masters will own you. And I didn't get it until I got it, and it was like, oh, wow. The fear that we carry as artists on labels of getting dropped, it's there somewhere. It's transactional. And it's all love to all the people I've worked with. It's been an incredible experience, life changing. But now that it's mine, it's like, oh, it feels different. And look, exactly, like that's a case in point. I did all the art direction on that. Talia rented that 1978 cherry red MG. We're right on Bond Street, shot by Jeanette Beckman. I styled myself. Everything was exactly the way I wanted it to look and feel. And that is actually incredibly difficult to pull off at a major label without like a team of 30 people, 40 people. And then you're dealing with all their decisions too. So I got a lot of vision. I have a lot of intention, and I like being a little bit of a control freak when it comes to that. So it works out just fine.
That's because it's your art, man. I need him to style me for this interview in my blue hoodie, and he comes dripped, ready to go. Look at these. I mean, the pictures. You always have the style, the artistic vision of it all.
Yeah, thank you. I just, I try to just let whatever the music is saying, I try to let that come across in the visuals too, because it's all the same thing.
That's why it's more than just streaming a single, is to buy the album, because all the artwork and all of the liner notes and everything that goes into the love of it is the whole entire project. So make sure you support the whole thing. I think pre-orders and other albums and things you can get, or all the information is over at your website. We can follow you on Instagram. You could stream the music. You and millions of people a month are streaming the music all around the world. So stream the music as well. And if you're going to be in New York in May, make sure you go to bluenotejazz.com and follow and stay up to date for all of the dates that are to come, and make sure you're ready for the whole album to come out in May. I was really excited. I'm such a fan of your artistry and your message. And
Thank you.
now I got to get some tape to record, a tattoo of a dragon, and quit the caffeine. I got it. And then we're ready.
Just go slow. I went cold turkey on it, and it was a horrible 6 weeks. You got to just introduce a little green tea. Green tea is your friend now. Okay. Matcha, green tea. It's an all day little, like, gentle. It gives you what you need.
Okay, my husband's gonna thank you, because if I go cold turkey tomorrow, I'll be throwing chairs and
no, don't do that.
Much love. Send love to your wife at home, and we look forward to seeing you out on the street and on the road. So thank you for being and spending some time with us.
Thank you, Robert. I'll see you in Detroit.
See you in Detroit.